get started. It gives me immense pleasure to announce this one-of-a-kind panel today. For the first time at our conference, we are doing a directors panel, and we are very excited to host some very prominent directors from IITs over in India. And the panel will be run by Deepak Bhagatji, and I will give a small, brief introduction about Deepakji, who I've had the privilege to know for several years now. And he's an amazing person, and I'll just share a little bit of history about Deepak. Deepak Bhagat is an IIT Kharagpur graduate, and he did his master's in EE and CE from Case Western Reserve University, Cleveland. He has been in the field of computing for the past 45 years, and over 40 years has been in the Valley. He has held key engineering roles and executive positions in companies like General Automation, HP, Sun Microsystems, and now at SAP, where he is a senior director in SAP Cloud Organization. During his career, he has made key contributions to the innovative computing technologies and product programs which have generated billions of dollars for revenues for these companies. He's also the principal founder of IIT Kanpur Alumni West Coast chapter, through which I have known him for the last decade and so. He started this chapter in '98 and also was very instrumental in co-founding the IIT Foundation, which has been collaborating with IIT Kanpur to help alumni get connected with our school. He is the recipient of IIT Kanpur Distinguished Alumnus Award in 2001. He was born and raised in the city of Kanpur, India, where he also went to school. And he has been also a Thai Silicon Valley chapter member since 2001, and has been on the board and was one of the co-founders of Thai Angel programs. And something that's not shared here is that he's still very active in helping Kanpur graduates, IIT Kanpur foundation companies that have been founded by IIT Kanpur alum. So please give it up a round of applause for Deepak Bhagat to get this panel started.
Thank you, Surbhi. Can you hear me? Is it working? Okay, thanks. I would like, on behalf of the Bay Area chapters, I would like to welcome 4 representatives from India. We have Professor S.K. Das, IIT Ropar, which is one of the new IITs. We have Professor Pramod Pathak, IIT Dhanbad. Also, the university has been around for many decades, but they have just been converted into IIT. Then we have Professor Bhattacharya from IIT Kharagpur, and Professor Ram Gopal Rao, who's the director of IIT Delhi since 2016. So the way we are going to do it is we have 40 minutes, so we are going to split it into 4 blocks of 8 minutes each. So each representative will get 8 minutes, and they are supposed to be answering the following 3 questions. They can tell all of you about their IIT, what its strengths are, and their vision for it. What are the specific goals and initiatives that they are focusing on, what challenges they are facing, and how can our alumni in the West Coast and in the US can help them out. So these are the 3 questions. They need to cover it in 8 minutes. So let me start out with IIT Ropar. Give me 30 seconds to introduce him. He's currently on leave from IIT Madras, where he's a professor with ME department and served as Dean of Academic Research. He's a postdoc from University of Hamburg, Germany, has published 4 books and over 300 research papers, fellow of Indian National Academy and National Academy of Engineering, and visiting chair professor at MIT in 2007 and 2011. With that, I would like to hand it over to Professor Das.
So, welcome from IIT Ropar. I know the first thing that you will be asking, Ropar, where is it? Oh, these are one of those new IITs. Will it dilute the IIT system? These are the questions we keep on hearing. So let's come bang on to that. Fasten your seat belts. You are mistaken. In 5 years from now, we will be challenging Professor Ramagopal Rao, IIT Delhi. So the reason being this, that these new IITs which have come up, they do not have the baggage of the past. We do not have the people with whiskers sitting there and saying, nothing can be done. We know everything can be done. We have a very young force, and all of them, most of them I have hired from here. IIT Ropar is the fastest growing IIT. 4 years back, we had 60 faculty members and 600 students. Today, we have 2,000 students and 170 faculty members. And from Bay Area, we have taken a lot of faculty members. And they are also alumnus of other IITs. For example, if you look at our young faculties, they will look like research scholars. For example, I have Puneet, who is the faculty in charge of alumni affairs. He's an alumnus of IIT Delhi, and he is heading our alumni initiatives. So this is our strength. Now, how did we go? We did the first, as among the newer IITs, we were the first one to have a scientific mission, vision, and strategic plan implementer. We did it in collaboration with IIM Calcutta. We ran an exercise for 1 year, from which our mission came out to be the 3 points: contribution to knowledge, contribution to society, and contribution to the nation. And these are not just buzzwords. We have implemented them in such a way, I can tell you, for example, we said always in terms of knowledge, we want to see the quality of research more important than the volume of research. And IIT Ropar has got highest citation per paper among the new generation IITs, and highest even publication per faculty among the new generation IITs. In fact, we are rubbing shoulder with old generation IITs in these respects. And also, we have decided that the research should be socially relevant and impact making. For example, we have brought out 3-4 verticals which are important for that regions. You know, we are in Punjab and Haryana region. So we are working on one thing which is very important for India, which is water. In fact, you will be surprised to know so much of agriculture is there, but the water resources of Punjab has not yet been properly investigated and mapped properly. IIT Ropar is first time doing the mapping of water resources in Punjab. And this is one of the verticals. Second is, Punjab has got tremendous amount of cancers, double the national average. You know why? It is because of the Green Revolution. Punjab has given to the rest of the country, but they have suffered for that because of the pesticides used for them. We are working, particularly the diagnostic part of cancer, particularly point-of-care diagnostics. We are working on that. This is another vertical. Third, Punjab once upon a time was the jewel in the crown in terms of manufacturing. They have lost it because they didn't keep track with the changing manufacturing. Whether it is cyber connected, industry 4.0, or it is additive manufacturing. So IIT Ropar is working on manufacturing, and not only that, it has within this time come to a position that the MHRD has made IIT Ropar as the resource center for manufacturing. And the fourth one is we are working on electric vehicles and off-grid, the local grid systems with renewables. So we have started doing things in a very focused way, and we are seeing the results of that one already. Among BRICS countries, we have been ranked 107. QS has ranked us 21st in India. Within 10 years, we are there when there are hundreds and thousands of universities. So this is what IIT Ropar is doing. And that's why I'm saying fasten your seat belts. Now coming to the third question, that, what is this that we want from you? See, my dream is not only to make IIT Ropar the best among the IITs, but how can I make it, this question keeps on coming. Why are we not there in the global ranking? I want to make IIT Ropar a global institution. And that's the reason I have come just for this event here. The reason is I want to appeal to you. We want your help. Because there are 2 areas in which you can help us. One, that is getting an international footprint. It's not the money which is everything. Can you connect us to the right kind of people? Can I send my young faculty? I send 20 faculty every summer at my cost to various institutions in the world, just to get a proper exposure. I send hundreds of students every year. For last month, I signed an MOU with MIT for water and food collaboration. We want the connections through you. This is where you can make a big difference. The second thing is, you are all experts, you are excelling in your areas. You may be an alumnus of IIT Delhi, but you may be from Chandigarh. You may be from Rajasthan, Jaipur. So when you are visiting India, why don't you come to IIT Ropar? Speak to our students, speak to our faculty. Give them the perspective, how the world is changing. That is what can make a very big difference. And the second and most important thing I want, see, India is changing. India is not changing because of X and Y, but in spite of X, Y, Z, everybody, because the pressure is from the bottom. The thing is that India is changing in terms of just one thing. It has understood the value of innovation. Every IIT, which was not there 10 years back, nobody thought about it. Innovation, startups, it's a way of life. It is becoming a way of life. But it's here that we need your help, because this is just in the beginning. We really don't know. Suppose some of our students, they threw away a job and trying to develop something. But how to go global? There's nobody to guide them. Can some entrepreneur come from here, be there at IIT Ropar, and tell that, yes, this is the way to go global. This is the way to frame a company. This is the way you can market it. This is the way an idea can be implemented. The second point with respect to that, which has been told already in the morning, that all these ideas, how can you scale it greater? I think that's a question you have to take at the government level. How can small ideas be taken at a global level or even at a national level? But believe me, IIT Ropar, on its own, want to become a center of excellence where I think you can see in 10 more years that this is one of the jewel in the crown of Indian educational scenario. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Das. Let's move on to the second professor, Professor Pramod Pathak from IIT Dhanbad. He's the senior most professor in Department of Management Studies at IIT Dhanbad, including heading the department. He's a researcher, academician, a trainer, and a management consultant and advisor to several ministries of Government of India. He's produced over 25 PhDs, and several scholars are pursuing PhD, a widely read columnist and public speaker writing on ethics, spirituality, values. A member of many university editorial boards, All India Management Association president of local chapter for the past 2 decades. With that, Professor Pathak.
Thank you. I'm getting. The first thing is I'd like to apologize, of course, but then I must mention that putting us in the bracket of new IITs will be rather not fair. We are there in the business since 1926, and we'll be completing 100 years in a few, I think around some 6 years from now. So that way, experience is on our side. Of course, we started with a purpose. The government of India then, the British government, they wanted mining industry to come up in that region because there are a lot of coal mines over there. So we started as ISMAG, Indian School of Mines and Applied Geology. And that went on for a few decades. But in these few decades, we made a mark for ourselves in that mining and mineral industry. And over the years, we gradually diversified. And today, we have some 19 departments catering to different academic disciplines of engineering and management and computer science. We have one objective in mind, that we want to use the diversified areas to strengthen the core, because our core still remains the mining and the mineral industry, which is, of course, very important for a country like India, where energy security is a major issue. And ISM, now IIT ISM, is being depended upon by the government of India to help the government in making this industry flourish and help the country in attaining the energy security, which is the need of the hour for the country. We are now delving into new areas like artificial intelligence and deep learning. Of course, the objective being the same, to strengthen our core. Mining, as you know, is a traditional industry and has come up a long way since it started. And today, we have a lot of technology involved in mining. So our purpose is to make mining safer, cleaner, responsible, and at the same time, energy efficient. So with this in mind, we are now delving into those new areas, and energy management and artificial intelligence will be the key strengths on which we are working. Now, the important question is, what do we want here? In fact, I came all the way from Dhanbad. I guess most of you know about Dhanbad. Are you aware of Dhanbad? So it's in fact, very poetically called the coal capital of India. So I came all the way of Dhanbad for a different purpose. We wanted to position ISM over here as an institution of excellence that applies the technology which is so, popularly used here for making mining better. And then at the same time, we also wanted the people, the alumni, the IIT people over here to help us in grow and develop into an institution where mining and mineral sector is a cutting-edge discipline for us. So we are looking forward to more interactions with the alumni over here. In fact, our presence is not all that much over here in the Bay Area. Our presence is elsewhere. But now, since we are trying to develop into the artificial intelligence and other areas which is the core strength of this place, we would certainly look forward to more frequent interactions with people over here. And of course, there is another advantage of connecting with us. That the state in which we are established, the Jharkhand state, is one of the richest states of the country with tremendous potential for growth and development and industrialization. So the entrepreneurs who are keen to invest there may use Indian School of Mines as a route to entering into Jharkhand state, which will provide them with great opportunities for growth and development. So I think the reasons which I've cited is good enough for the alumni of other IITs to join hands with IIT ISM Dhanbad, and at the same time, they should also focus on how to invest in an upcoming state like Jharkhand, which has a tremendous potential for growth and industrialization. I would also request the people in industry over here to give us an opportunity to send our students for training, as Professor Das told, that is one area we'd like to strengthen the connect with, and we may send students for internship, for exchange programs, and such areas where they can learn and then take that technology back home to develop the institute. In addition, we are also looking for some expert faculty which will help us in developing in the areas in which we want to now enter. So we are looking forward to that connect also, and maybe we'll request many of you to help us with that faculty support or some kind of an exchange where the entrepreneurs can come and stay there and maybe help us in acquiring the technology, or rather accepting or adopting the technology which we are so keen to start with now. So I think there is a lot of opportunity for interaction with the Indian Institute of Technology, Indian School of Mines, Dhanbad now, which hitherto was more spread in other areas of US. But since we are now there for the IT and artificial intelligence sector, and we want to use it for mining, I think there's a lot of opportunity for all of you. I welcome you all to Jharkhand, to Indian School of Mines, and maybe hope that there'll be some great connection between the Bay Area entrepreneurs, the IIT alumni, and the Indian School of Mines. With few words of these, I thank all of you for listening to me. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Pramod. Let's move on to now IIT Kharagpur. We have Professor Bhattacharya, who is the Dean of International Relations. Got his BTech from Kharagpur in 91 and PhD in 97 from Johns Hopkins. He's the Fellow of Indian National Academy, Fellow of American Society of Civil Engineers. He's responsible for setting up research programs with universities around the world. 4 years as a faculty member at University of Delaware, has held visiting professorship at Stanford and Johns Hopkins. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Professor Bhattacharya.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bhagat. Mic is on. Mic is on, right? Yeah. So IIT Kharagpur, the oldest, the largest member of this happy family of 24. There is
24.
24, right. And when you see the list, is always on the top left corner, our seal. So, and the big sister of the family, my alma mater. Alma mater means dear mother. And the member of the family that clearly everyone looks up to and follows. IIT Kharagpur was set up in 1951, and the institute was so successful, as you know, that within 10 years, the country decided to set up 4 more. And by 1960, there were 5 IITs. The 6th one was instituted in the mid-80s. And then over the last 10 years or so, we have had several more. IIT Kharagpur has been the first and the pioneer in many of the things that you see in IIT system today. I'll just give a few numbers. We started very small, about 40 faculty members, 200 some students in about 4 departments. But today we are about 42 academic units, 12,000 students, out of which 50% are undergraduates. So we have more or less stabilized into a research institution, and masters and PhDs are about equal numbers. We have about 720 faculty members full-time, and in any given year we have about 100 or so faculty coming from abroad, short visits. And we also have some postdoctoral fellows. As you know, it's a huge campus, 2,100 acres, 23 halls of residence. It's completely residential. Other than generating power, we basically take care of all our municipal services. In fact, we have also started generating solar power in excess of 1 megawatt as of today. As I said, in the IIT system, most of the things that you see today first started in IIT Kharagpur. So whether it be the aerospace engineering department, or computer science or material science, and until ISM joined the IIT family, mining was taught only in IIT Kharagpur. Ocean engineering was the first to start in IIT Kharagpur, of course. Architecture is still the one in IIT Kharagpur, and obviously in others. The concept of incubation, entrepreneurship park first started in IIT Kharagpur. The concept of sponsored research as a formal cell that started in IIT Kharagpur first. Going beyond engineering, going into humanities, and then going into management, going into law. As you see, coming up in different IITs today, all started in IIT Kharagpur. And you will be very happy to know that Kharagpur will be the first one to start medical education. In the IIT system in India, we have a hospital, a multi-specialty hospital ready to go into service, and based on that, very soon we are going to start an MBBS program. And this hospital will also be a pioneering institute in terms of engineering and medicine coming together to solve some of the healthcare problems. While building these academic programs, we also went into infrastructure building. So we have a research park almost ready to start in Kolkata. We have 2 extension centers, one in Bhubaneswar, the other in Kolkata. We have various centers that have come up. I talked about management and law, of course. Last year we started the AI Center. We have the first Center for Railways Research in India. We have the Center for Data Sciences. A 1.5 petaflop machine is ready to start operations. Some of the programs that has been very successful pan-India have been germinated in IIT Kharagpur. For example, the GIAN program, GIAN, Global Initiative of Academics Network, which brings in international faculty for 2 weeks to teach a niche course open to all students of IITs and outside the IIT campus also. That is run by IIT Kharagpur. Also, the SPARK program, which started last year to bring in researchers for a longer duration, up to 2 years, from all over the world, 28 countries. That is also managed by IIT, SPARC, SPARK. Our thrust areas, we understand that we have to grow, we have to bring in new ideas, and we have to redefine ourselves. So we have identified 6 thrust areas: food security, innovative infrastructure, transportation technologies, advanced manufacturing, affordable healthcare, and geosciences for the future of the Earth. And putting all of this together is a digital convergence platform. So that's what we are hoping to focus on in the next 5 to 10 years of our research. Since I'm the Dean of International Relations, I should also talk about some of the international activities that we are doing. As all IITs have realized that opening up to the world and showing what we really stand for, our achievements, is very important, is the need of the day, and also to bring in the best of the world to our campuses. So we have started joint degree programs, joint doctoral programs, joint master's programs, exchange of students and exchange of faculty. Our students can do a semester away program, which is basically a study abroad program. International scholarships funded by alumni, funded by various other mechanisms from the government. International degree students, we have our own mechanism of admitting master's and doctoral students from around the country now. Short-term visits are encouraged. Challenge grant for international students from the top universities around the world to come to our campus, team up with our students and work with a faculty member on a globally relevant state-of-the-art problem. Microcredit courses, which are 10 to 12 credit hour courses, which can be taught in a week or 2 or a month, taught by experts in Kharagpur or from abroad. Our students can have minors and micro-specializations across the campus. There is no restriction. We have MOUs with many institutions around the world in excess of 120, and many of them are very active, including the dual degree programs that I mentioned. I would like to end with many of the initiatives and many of the very successful activities that go on in campus that have been made possible by alumni. And I'm worried that I may not be able to complete the list, but I would like to highlight a few. We have the Vinod Gupta School of Management, we have J.S. Sanyal School of Telecommunication, we have the Rajiv Gandhi School of Intellectual Property Law, we have the Rajendra Mishra School of Entrepreneurship Engineering, we have Ashok Desharkar and Ruma Acharya Center for Petroleum Engineering, we have Ranbir and Chitra Gupta School of Infrastructure Design and Management, we have the AI Center, as I said, the AI Center of Excellence supported by Capillary. We have the Rekhi Center of Happiness. We have the M.N. Farooqui Innovation Center. We have various scholarship and chair programs funded by alumni. We have halls As you know, many of our halls are 70 years old, and their renovation programs, projects are taken by grassroots alumni funding. Two international programs which we are very proud about, the Sri Gopal Rajgarhia International Program, which allows us to bring faculty and students from all over the world to campus, and the Ashok Deshawkar International Program, through which we bring South Asian scholars to our campus for degree and short visits. So just this list that I described, and it's incomplete, tells us how important alumni are. Obviously, money was mentioned, but much more than money, it's the time and the engagement and the new ideas that the alumni bring in. All of these things that you see, whether it's the science of happiness or telecommunication or management or law or petroleum engineering, all of these things are the first in the IIT system. And it's only been possible because alumni who are leaders in their own fields, they have come back and said that, you know, I think you should do this. And here is some funds. I'm there to give you guidance. I'm going there to bring in the expertise from around the world to make it possible and do it. And that's been the game changer. And we are keenly aware of that you know, you don't forget your alma mater ever. And it's important to us to know that the alumni are doing well. If you think about the institute, my time is up, that, you know, it's an outstanding relationship that we have, and our alumni have made an outstanding and outsized contribution compared to the size and age of our institute. So, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Bhattacharya. Now we move on to Professor Ram Gopal Rao, who's the director of IIT Delhi. And he's the recipient of Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award in 2005. He's also IEEE Fellow, served as P.K. Khelkar Chair Professor for Nanotechnology at IIT Bombay, over 450 research publications, over 40 patents, 7 patents licensed to industries, founder of 2 deep startups, an Infosys Prize, and many other awards. The list is very long. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Gopal Rao.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Mr. Bhagat. So I'm very happy to be here, and I will give you, a general overview of IITs, and in the process, I will also tell you a little bit about IIT Delhi. Now, one of the things about IIT Delhi, there are lots of perceptions about IITs in general. One of the perceptions is IITs are undergraduate institutions, which is far from the truth. At IIT Delhi, for example, if you look at our number of students, the percentage of students, 60% of our students are postgraduate students, only 40% are undergraduate students. So we have now become a research-focused kind of an institution. There are at IIT Delhi close to 3,000 PhD students. And that is a fact now, and so therefore that transition from an undergraduate-centric institution to a research-focused institution, that is now almost complete. And another myth that exists in IITs is these are mostly the teaching-based institutions. Not much research happens. If you just go to the Google Play and download the QS app, the QS is the world ranking agency. And if you look at the IIT Delhi rank for research impact, how do they measure the research impact? They look at the number of all the papers published by an institution all over the world, look at how many people have cited those papers. That's how they measure the impact. IIT Delhi in 2018 was ranked 39th in the world. So we were ranked 39th in the world in terms of research impact. So there is a lot of research that happens on our campuses with 3,000 PhD students. That is something that is true. Another misconception about IITs is all IIT students go abroad. Just as you have come here during your times, people still think that all IIT students go abroad. Last year, 5% of our students went abroad. Just 5% from IIT Delhi came to these countries. And in fact, that was year before. And last year, it was 4%. So from 5%, it has actually gone down to 4%. The rest 95% of IIT graduates are seeking jobs in the country, are starting companies, are directly contributing to the economy in the country. This is one change that has taken place in the IIT system, and that I think will be a game changer for the country. And these are the people who will build those Silicon Valleys in India now, and I think it's just a matter of time. Another thing, myth is also, of course, all of you who have gone through the IITs know that there are no girls in IITs. So the ratio was so bad. And in IIT Delhi, for example, today, 30% of all students are girl students. 30%. That includes the PhD, masters and all of that. 30%, every third student on the campus is a girl student. At the undergraduate level, the number is 16%, and next year it will go up to 20%. So 20% of students in undergraduate classes will be girl students starting from next year. So that is also one change that has taken place in the IITs, and people are not aware of. And about research, like I mentioned about the research impact, IIT Delhi generates close to 500 crores of research every year through competitive grants. By writing proposals to funding agencies, about 500 crores of research work is undertaken on our campuses. Another thing is about the fee. In fact, IIT education is still free. All of you haven't paid any fee. The fee was very, very nominal. You heard those news that the fee has gone up to 2 lakhs per annum kind of a thing. But all that, if you look at the IIT Delhi budget today, only 5% of our expenditure comes from the tuition fee. So IITs are 95% subsidized by Government of India. And that is a fact. So without the government subsidy, I don't think we will be able to really survive right now. And what students pay or what you have paid for your education, if you have graduated in the last 3 or 4 years, you have paid 5% of your educational cost. If you have graduated 10 years ago, you have not paid any fee at all. Because if you look at it, what you paid, it was actually nothing substantial about it. And one other myth is IITs are well funded. They don't need money. I think, it's again a myth that exists among all of you. IIT Delhi today, while universities here are building endowments, the $1 billion of endowment, IIT Delhi now has a loan of 600 crores to pay back to Canara Bank. So we have taken a loan of 600 crores for our infrastructure needs, which we need to pay back over 10 years of time. That is a fact today. So if you are thinking of IITs having a lot of money, we are in debt. I think some of you need to be aware of that fact as well. Another thing is IITs have outdated curriculum. Nobody reviews the curriculum, which is again far from the truth. Every 10 years, we undertake a major curriculum revision, but almost every quarter, you will see new courses getting introduced in IITs. And that is, in the last 2 years, for example, at IIT Delhi, we started 2 new departments, a Department of Design, a Department of Material Science, and we started 2 new schools, School of Interdisciplinary Research, in a School of Public Policy. We have a new School of Public Policy. We have 2 new centers, one center focusing on electric vehicles. We are now in the US visiting universities, looking for faculty in the electric vehicles area. We want to recruit at least 20 faculty at IIT Delhi to work on the electric vehicles area and contribute to the growth of electric vehicles in the country. And we have a center for sensors. So these are all, the IITs are continuously adapting, continuously evolving, and keeping pace with whatever is happening elsewhere. There is nothing outdated about how these institutions are run. And one of the questions again people ask is, why is it that not a single Indian university or IIT is in the top 100? That is again what the media keeps talking about and everybody keeps believing. There are 6 parameters on which these ranking agencies rate the universities. Out of those 6 parameters, on 3 parameters, IITs get 0, 0, 0. And these parameters are number of foreign faculty. These being Government of India institutions, we were never allowed to recruit foreign faculty. As a result, we have 0 foreign faculty, and we get a 0 marks for that. And foreign students, we admit 0.1% of students who aspire to study at IIT Delhi. We never needed to look for foreign students. So as a result, IITs remained mostly Indian in terms of their character. But again, when you look at the international ranking, their thinking is, if you are world class, why is it that the entire world is not coming and studying with you? My answer to them is, let them clear the JEE. We will admit as many students as they want in our institution. So therefore, we get 0 marks on the foreign students. And when it comes to faculty-student ratio, again, things are very bad. We have been increasing the student intake. Once we did for Mandal Commission, now we are doing it for economically weaker sections. But we have not been able to recruit faculty because there are not that many good candidates we are able to find. Unless you are in the 1:15 kind of a ratio, you will not get any marks. IIT Delhi today is at 1:18. We require today 400 faculty. If they are available, we can make offers to them tomorrow. That is the situation at IIT Delhi and IIT Bombay kind of places. Imagine what will happen to other institutions in this country. So I think out of these 3 parameters, we get 0, 0, 0. There is no wonder we will not be in the top 100. But when you look at the research impact, look at the individual parameters like research impact, we are ranked 39th in the world. So therefore, there is nothing wrong with these institutions. It is basically the character of these institutions which is coming in the way of us getting ranked highly in those world rankings, but things are changing now. Thanks to Government of India, now we can recruit foreign faculty. We are looking aggressively for foreign faculty. IIT Delhi last month announced 500 PhD fellowships for foreign students. All free, fully paid fellowships for foreigners to come and do PhD at IIT Delhi. That is one thing that has happened. My last request to you is, I think all of you need to pay back your dues. An undergraduate education costs about 50,000 rupees. The IIT quality education costs about 50,000 rupees. IIT Delhi has 50,000 faculty. 50,000 faculty paying back their dues. We will have $2.5 billion endowment. We don't have to go back to Government of India, and we will be the future Stanfords and MITs. I think that you can make the difference, and I hope that will happen one day. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rao. So we have close to 7.5 minutes. So I would like to open up the microphone, and we can entertain maybe 4 to 6 questions here.
Yeah, hi. My name is Mehul. I'm from IIT Bombay. What I learned today is that there's a lot of good things happening in the other IITs, which I didn't know about. So maybe one suggestion is, and funding is important, that we have like a IIT-wide portal, because the identity first is you're an IITian, and then you're from whichever campus. But if you look on the internet today, IIT donation, it goes to various campuses. So if you have a common portal where you can say what is the need for each campus, and if somebody is interested into mining, which is only happening in Guwahati, they can donate there. So that way we can also pool branding and marketing for these fundraising activities. And they can just say general need fund, and you can have representatives from all IITs who will decide what is the, and based on the need, how you want to segregate that money. So I think just like, people are very state conscious, but first you are an Indian. So like that, if you think about it from your collective marketing and branding, it might help. So it was just a thought, if you had any comments about that.
This is where you can talk about director.
No, I think we need to do that. That's a good suggestion. We will look into that. So there is an IIT Council webpage, but which is not popular. So we will look into that. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, and there's one more thing which I would like to add, that as you suggested, instead of going for institute-specific donations, you can go for field-specific donations. As you said, mining for ISM and others, some other, say, electronics, some other institute this way. That will help.
Yeah, you can continue to have your campus-specific,
yeah,
but you can also have the whole IIT. Because let's say someone has money and they don't care where it goes. So they, like in some of the other alumni, it goes to greatest need. Now you guys have representatives and decide what is the greatest need, and that way the money can be allocated.
I think this is a good idea. We can bring it to our IIT directors. Yes. So we have a forum in which I will bring it to discussion.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Munishi Sanyal, IIT Madras, 1970. All of you talked about the need for help in entrepreneurship and in artificial intelligence. So for AI, I want to introduce Mr. Tushar Kant. Don't let his name fool you. He can enlighten your alumni about artificial intelligence. He runs a big IIT Slack group on AI. He's got about 700 members, and growing. Okay, and that's Tushar Kant. And on the business side, we have IITstartups.org. The video library there gives free training. It's accessible to anybody, anywhere, no password, nothing. So at Comfort, anybody can go through that.
Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Hi, I'm Alok Agarwal. I listened to you folks very, very intently, but particularly to Professor Rao. And I want to make a few points. I'm actually kind of saddened that very little was talked about the fact that you folks do not have faculty. And almost nothing seems to be done in the last 20 years since I started IBM India Research Lab to actually have faculty really in IITs. In the top IITs, 1/3 of the faculty is missing. Without gurus, there is no knowledge. Without knowledge, if you believe in the Hindu philosophy, there will be no innovation. We talk all about innovation happening in India, but if you look from Silicon Valley's perspective or from MIT's perspective, all of that innovation is being copied from the US. Why is that happening? Because there isn't enough knowledge in India. Some of the companies which are in India actually move their AI centers to the US because they don't have the knowledge, even from IITians in India, to provide that knowledge. So my request for you folks, as much as endowment is important, why is it Silicon Valley is there so important? Because there is Stanford and Berkeley. Why is the Route 195 so important out in 128 in Massachusetts? Is because there is MIT. That if you want to create real innovation, which will change the world, and not a follow-on innovation, you need knowledge. And for that, you need professors. For that, you need to pay them well. I understand that government doesn't allow you to, but without that, I'm sorry. We can talk about India being 152nd on quality ranking or 39th. Tsinghua has done that well. If Tsinghua University in China could do that well, so can IIT Delhi and IIT Bombay and all other 22 IITs. Thank you.
It's a good point. In fact, we are looking for foreign faculty to meet some of these requirements. The salary part is a bit more difficult, but we have all been creating chair positions. At IIT Delhi, there are at least 40 chair positions where we pay them slightly higher amount than the regular faculty positions. But again, these chair positions are all created by alumni. That is one place where, getting the top class people from here to go to India, can we create those endowed chairs? And, I think things can be done, but I think expecting government to do everything is not fair. I think time has come for alumni to own up these institutions and do something about it.
Okay. I would supplement to that, I do not accept the entire criticism that knowledge is not being generated. See, please understand, the quality of PhDs, which was 30 years back in that country, and what is produced today. You take a PhD from IISc. I have taught 2 years at MIT. I'm sorry to say that, I do not see them to be much above us in quality of PhD as well. So do not think that if they come from MIT, they are going to be the better ones. I do have people from IISc who are better than the MIT and Stanford ones. I dare to say that.
Good, thank you. So I think in terms of time-wise, we have run.
I didn't mean to say that you do not have that. I said there is 1/3 faculty missing.
Exactly. No,
If that faculty was there,
Yeah.
you would be producing more PhD students. There'll be more gyan, and therefore there'll be more real innovation which will change the world, not only India. That was my point about faculty.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have already exceeded our time limit. So
one last question. Maybe.
okay, so this is the last question.
Yeah. So hi, I'm from Kharagpur batch 2016, and my question is more from the perspective of students who want to get into IIT. So one of the major, it could be controversial, but a lot of concern is around the reservation system in IITs. And recently, I heard that you've introduced 14% reservation for girls. I don't know. I don't think that I needed reservation to get into IIT. Maybe some people do. And you got the point for how IITs need to take loans. So I know that you're not charging a lot of fee from students from different categories, and you are increasing the fee for general category. And on the other hand, you are taking loans. I know a lot of students who are capable of paying the fee. Then why don't you charge them?
We can discuss. I think it's a more complicated thing in the short time. But I think on the women reservation, again, these are misconceptions. It is not a reservation per se. What happens is if a girl student in Hyderabad gets a JEE rank, but gets admission in, let us say, Guwahati, the parents don't send the girl to Guwahati. all that government is saying is, why don't you create some more seats for girls in IIT Hyderabad so that that girl can go to IIT Hyderabad. And if all girls who qualify in JEE join IITs, the number would have been 20% even today. If girls who are already eligible to get into IITs from their JEE ranks join IITs, 20% today. It is not happening simply because of the cultural issues, parents not willing to send the girl to a faraway IIT, instead admitting them at a place nearby in other colleges. So that is how we were losing girls. So this thing is not a reservation. It is actually
Yeah, you say it's not a reservation,
No,
but
please. I'm going to give you a data. 2 years back, number of girls selected in JEE was 12%, but only 8% joined. That means 1/3 of the girls who were selected didn't join IIT, even after getting IIT. You know why? Because they did not fill up enough number of choices. They filled up the nearby IITs, only 10 choices. Now she gets, a girl from Andhra Pradesh is not going to come to Ropar.
so you've increased the number of seats.
Okay, so
in
we can,
IIT.
let's take this issue
more
offline.
complicated than that.
So, because I
there is
think
a document
we'll be
which
here
I
for
will
hours
send
to
you.
learn.
It's
One
not
last-
a reservation.
Okay, one last question, and after that, I'm shutting
Because
it
I was-
down. 30 seconds to you.
Thank you. So quickly, as director from IIT Kanpur said that you are in the debt, 600 crore debt. We have, eminence award given by the Prime Minister last year to IIT Bombay only, out of IITs, and Reliance sponsored proposed education institute, which does not even exist on a piece of paper, and BITS Pilani. Then we have Education Minister Satyapal Singh, who says, Newton ने दुनिया को क्या दिया? सब कुछ तो उपनिषद से आया.
not getting
Now,
to that
one second. My point is, we can never be great, and I agree with the gentleman and the lady who spoke, unless the social construct of India is changed. And being a guru, I have never seen, I live in India more than, I come here. I have never seen any of the IIT directors have spoken against such kind of, stand which government has taken to damage our education system. So it's our moral responsibility. If you want a support from IIT alumni, we want you to be the bold faces in India, the agent of transformation, and not be in the lap of government.
That's
so many
excellent.
good things to
with
do.
That,
We don't
I
want
think
to
with
waste
that
our time.
note,
Catch up later.
let's call this off. Thank you.
We cannot answer.
Satyapal Singh said something.